Alrighty, hello everyone and welcome to lesson 6. Today we're going to be discussing HTML. While HTML is a fairly basic tool, it's used in every company, regardless of whatever they do. Thus, it's an invaluable skill to learn in order to achieve success in virtually every industry out there. Today we're going to go over some of the common tags that you can expect to see in HTML. Please keep in mind that there are many other tags, but these are mostly not utilized in the corporate environment. I'm trying to give you the majority of the ones that you'll run into, if not all of them. The first element that we're going to discuss today is a division tag. The division tag, syntax of div, as you can see right here, is an HTML element that defines a division or section of an HTML element. These are extremely popular. As you can see right here, whenever we press play, that's going to be the Jumbotron. And if I were to venture a guess, I know exactly what that one is. I believe it's this one right here. Looks like the Jumbotron, does it not? Yep, div Jumbotron, okay? Now that makes sense. This is a division right here, and I'm sure these little blocks right here are also divisions, as you can see. Yes, right here. And we'll go over what classes and stuff are, so don't get bogged down with what this is. We're just trying to talk about HTML right now. We're going to get into CSS here in a little bit, okay? The next element we're going to discuss is the span tag. Right here, I'm actually not seeing any spans, but if we wanted to have a span, what we could do here is go also, this is a span. Okay, and then whenever we reload this, any second now, boom, we see that our span got injected into there. So what is a span? A span's similar to a div, but a span allows for you to do some really nifty things, like embed elements inside of elements that normally divs cannot be allowed inside. An example is that you can put a span inside of a paragraph tag, but you can't put a div inside of one, right? Because you're going to get some problems there. The next element that we're going to discuss here is the table tag, all right? And for me to be able to go over this, I'm just going to create an ad hoc table here. So we'll go with, actually, yeah. Heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and then row 1, row 2, and row 3. Okay, so as you can see, there were 3 things that I put inside of the table. We have TR, which stands for table row. It's designating a new row. TH, which is for table header, and TD, which is for table cell or table data. I think that's what the D stands for anyways, but I don't know. So as you can see right here, we created a table that has a tabular layout. We have a grid here. We have actually, let me show you with the debug tools on it. It makes a little bit more sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you can see the grid layout there. And then every row that you add will just go right down in there, and it will follow the same principles here. Tables are really good for tabular layout. Generally people like using divs though. As you can see, divs were used up here because divs, you can add classes and styles onto them to change the way that they behave, but tables are pretty static with the way that they are. I mean, you're always going to have as many columns as you specify, as many rows as you specify. You can do some other stuff like have like column span and row span, but that gets a little bit hacky and it's a little bit harder to maintain. Let's go ahead and close this down. Restart. So that's pretty much what a table is, and that's actually generally some of your biggest like big element type of layouts that you're going to see. Everything else you're going to see here are kind of tags that you nest inside of a div, inside of a span, or inside of a table. Okay, these though are generally what controls your layouts though. Tables are a little bit more outdated, but I mean, believe it or not, you still see them in a lot of companies. So the next element that we're going to discuss here is the title. The title is a required element that defines the title in the browser toolbar. In MVC, it's generated like this, but in the HTML, as you're going to see, it's going to be, as soon as it comes down here, it's actually going to be in an HTML element. Don't concern yourself with what Razor is doing there. Once again, we're going to have our own little video on Razor, but the important thing is that you're going to find where the title is. Should be. Where is the title at? Here, let me find. There it is. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say it should be in the header. That's where generally the tables are, and also that's where you put all of your links and scripts for either CSS or for JavaScript files or TypeScript, whatever. But yeah, as you can see, my ASP.NET application homepage, my ASP.NET application. Yes. The next element that we're going to be discussing here is the heading element. Heading tags go from H1 to H6 and offer a way to index the structure and content of your web pages. As you can see here, we have H2 tags for our smaller ones here, and then ASP.NET has H1. As you can see the difference here in the size. It allows for you to kind of give different call to actions to different parts of your page. The fact that ASP.NET is the most important part of this page, and then here are kind of like your subtopics of things that are in H2s. Yeah, it's useful too from a search engine optimization standpoint whenever you have some of these things too. I mean, we'll get into search engine optimization way down the road. But that's something that's important for companies too. The next element that we're going to discuss is the image tag. So it does not look like we have any images here, but as you can probably guess, actually, what I'm going to do is also, this is a random picture, okay? And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to grab a random image from random unicorn image. Okay. Oh, boom. That's a good one. Yeah, okay. So, let's actually go here and grab the actual image source. Copy image address, make sure that that's good. Boom, there it is. Okay, and all we have to do is specify the source right there. Alt is equal to trolley face unicorn image. Okay, let's close this tag right here. And then whenever we rebuild this application, you're going to see that there should be a unicorn image right there. We'll get into how to size things up and down and stuff with styles, but I'm just trying to get you guys to understand, what these different tags are, and we'll get into how to make things look nice and look professional. But as you can see right there, it just embedded an image right there on your web page. So the next element that we're going to discuss is the anchor tag. The anchor tag defines a hyperlink, which is used to link from one page to another. The most important piece of information to this tag is the href attribute, which indicates the link's destination. So let's take this a step further. Right down here, let's put an anchor tag. Href equal to www.google.com. All right. And then inside of here, this image was found on Google. Clicking this text allows for you to go to Google. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're just going to click on this. Oops, why did that not work? Oh, duh. Didn't fully qualify it because I'm dumb. Just trying to go relative to the application path. Okay, so let's go back here. Refresh. Okay. Wait, why is that? Yeah. Yeah, that's trying to go relative to the application path. Yeah, well, this is normally how these work, but I'm going to have to go through HTML dot, what is the one in MVC for redirecting? Sorry. Let me figure out why that's anchor tag in view not redirecting. Yeah, this is strange. This should just be href. Yeah, it's trying to find something in the application, so it's trying to go relative, and it's not letting me just go to Google, which it should. Google. Yeah, let me see what this is saying now. And part of troubleshooting is being a programmer too. Yeah, okay, now there we go. I don't know. Yeah, that's extraordinarily weird. It must have been cached with the www. Yeah, so just make sure that you put that you want to go through Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and it will work there. My apologies for that. Yeah, so let's press forward here. The next element that we're going to discuss is the paragraph tag, and as you can see, we already have paragraph tags here. And the way that paragraph tags are formatted are incredible. It's kind of like the text in like a paperback book that you would get. It allows for you to um, uh, it just automatically puts a spacing in so that everything looks nice. If you embed images and stuff into paragraph tags, that's really neat too. As a matter of fact, here I'm going to show you. Okay, so let's put this in the middle of this text, middle of this paragraph tag. All right, and it should automatically wrap around the image, which is really cool. And this is really nice for like you know how like kind of like a newspaper or layouts that you can have. As you can see, it automatically works the image in there, and if we shrunk the image down, the words would wrap around and fill around as much of the element as humanly possible to get as many words in there. Just once again, kind of like a newspaper article. Yeah, you can do some really neat things with paragraph tags. I highly recommend them. Um, you know, putting paragraph tags in as many places as possible. Um, a lot of people just like to throw text in divs, and yeah, there's a lot of additional styling that you have to do. Whereas if you just put it in a paragraph, it's a little bit better. The final element that we're going to discuss are lists. There are two types of lists in HTML. There's ordered and unordered lists. An ordered list bolts a number onto the front of a list item, whereas an unordered list puts bullets next to the list items. As you may have guessed, both lists are made up of list items. So let's go here, and outside of here, let's just create an ordered list with list items. Oops. used to working on my laptop, so I've been hitting my Windows key a lot more than I should be. All right, now let's go with an unordered list. Okay. First item, second item, third item. First item, second item, third item. Alrighty. Now let's see what this gives us, huh? Alright. That's a wondrous image. As you can see here, it's working exactly as you would intend. Or, I'm sorry, as I said before. You have your first item with a 1 prepended, second item with a 2 prepended, and then a number 3 prepended to third item. Down here, you just have the bullets. So another thing that will happen here whenever we get into CSS is you'll see that you can do some really funky stuff with these unordered lists. And sometimes you can even create menu items like this out of it. I know that sounds like really crazy, but it's true. As a matter of fact, those may actually be what I'm talking about. No, they're not. It looks like they just used buttons. Yeah. But yeah, you can totally create menu items out of unordered list items and do like styling and CSS on it to make it like really crazy. There's a lot of creative ways that people manipulate HTML with classes and with CSS. I mean, all of this page right here is pretty much CSS. Whenever you just have HTML on a page, it kind of looks like this right here. But whenever you have styles, sans the crazy little unicorn over here, you actually can get some really pretty buttons and some really nice text and fonts, and that's how you really make background colors too. Your text color of your text. All of that is really stylized with CSS, which is going to be our next lesson. I know this is a lot of information that I digest, but please play around with some of these elements and see if you can and see what you can come up with. Make as a basic website. Go ahead into this standard project that we were using last week and mess around with some of this stuff. Just go ahead and add these items in and play around. Mess around with the text. To be honest with you, a lot of programmers' careers are pretty much copy and paste what other people have done. There's not a lot of innovation depending on where you're working, unless you're working in like R&D. But a lot of this stuff has already been done by so many other developers that, I mean, you don't even necessarily have to understand what's going on. You just have to be able to go in and replace some things just to change it out. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from creating a blog, from going in here and just going Greg's blog. This is my totally original blog, and I created it from scratch. Okay. There's nothing stopping any of you from going in here and just, changing this stuff up. And that's what some programmers do, believe it or not. But don't get me wrong, there's a lot of really cool things to discover out there. I'm just trying to say that, a lot of our jobs, believe it or not, are copy and paste. But anyhow, I digress. We're getting a little bit off topic here. This concludes today's lesson, and next week we're going to be getting into CSS, which is really going to make some of this stuff click and make a lot of sense with how stuff's laid out. Virtually everything on here has a class, and we'll go into what that means here in a little bit. But thank you all for continuing to work very hard, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Have a good one.